Good morning and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Levi Nolasco. I'm a top producing relocation realtor with Keller Williams here in sunny Las Cruces, New Mexico. Today I am walking around the beautiful neighborhood of Mesilla Park, which is connected to the historic city of Mesilla. This is one of my favorite neighborhoods, as you can see behind me. It's a very mature neighborhood. It has some really nice, I would call it state houses. Just a really great option to find a cute house or a really nice house on a large lot. So real quick, just what we're going to cover in today's video on the contingent home sale. The steps are going to be connect with a realtor that knows your area really well, a top producing realtor or a realtor that has really good statistics on home sales. Price your home correctly based off of a professional realtor's opinion. Make sure that your realtor is aware of what you're doing and that you need a longer close date than usual, with the option to rent your house back from the new buyers. Once your house is listed, focus on getting it under contract as soon as possible. Once it's under contract, connect your listing broker to your buyer's broker over here in Las Cruces so that we can start getting time frames and everything put together so that you'll have a seamless transition from your home sale to your home purchase here in New Mexico. Over 95% of my customers are relocation clients. This type of transaction that we're talking about, just so I can give a definition for it, is called a contingent sale. So that means that you have to sell your house in order to purchase another house. And I'll tell you, at least 70% or more of my clients that I help relocate to the Southwest are in this situation. And I've been through this quite often. And despite what your mind is telling you, it's going to work out. I have yet to see anybody pack up and go back to the home or the city and state that they came from because they couldn't sell their house and buy one here at the same time. So I'm going to walk you through it. If it's confusing, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through it over the phone. And please feel free to join my Facebook group called Moving to Las Cruces. This is where the questions for today's video came from. So step number one is going to be to get connected with the realtor in your area that knows your area really well and has a lot of sales in the recent 6 months under their belt. So you're probably looking for somebody that's a top producer or a top 20% producer. Just make sure that they're an expert on your neighborhood and on the market. I do have access to a database that's national that I can set you up with a couple realtors to interview that have high sales statistics and are ranked highly in your area. I think that's the best bet. Somebody that's consistently working and is very busy. You know what they say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. And a top producing realtor is going to be upfront with you and honest, in my experience. So you don't want somebody that's coming to your house telling you you can sell it for $30,000 more than it's worth. You want somebody that's coming to your house to tell you exactly what it's worth, how they're going to sell it, and what to expect in terms of your sale. Once you've interviewed a few realtors and selected the one that you want to work with, they're going to give you a competitive market analysis. So this is basically a document that shows you what your house can sell for in the current market. So they're going to give you a low, recommended, and high price normally, and tell you the benefits and the drawbacks from choosing each price point. To make the transition to New Mexico a little smoother, a little less stressful, I can't emphasize enough, you have to price your house correctly. During COVID, we were getting, even $15,000 to $40,000 over the highest price that we found in the competitive market analysis. I just want to let you know that we're definitely out of that market. That market changed in June. It's very unlikely that that'll happen again in this market. So, be realistic, choose a good price that'll get your home sold fast and put the most amount of money in your pocket, and make sure that your realtor knows what they're doing. I can't talk about pricing enough, so I'm going to talk about it just a little bit more and then I'll move on to the next steps. Back in the day, I guess when you had to go to the realtor, to the real estate offices and pick up the real estate book to look through what's available, the strategy was a little different on pricing. I still run into people who want to price their home, let's try $10,000 over the highest price, that way we can negotiate the price down. Well, that's not the market that we're in, that's not the world that we're in due to the internet. Over 70% of buyers find their homes online. So in this market or in this technological age, whatever, the buyers, I would say, are absolute experts at what they're looking for. So I like to put it in terms of car sales. So think back to the last time that you purchased a car, and let's say that car was a 2015 Civic. You probably knew the prices of every single 2015 Civic from your hometown to maybe 500 miles around you, or maybe even the entire nation. So when a new Civic pops up and it's overpriced, what are your thoughts? It's going to be, oh, they don't know what they're doing. I'm going to pass on this. I'm not even going to take my time to call the dealership. This is a no-go. But then let's say, a couple days later, Civic comes on for, $1,000 less than the prices that you've seen in your research, of course, you're going to jump on it, and so is every other person that's been looking for. Who knows, you might even call the dealership and pay them $500 extra to hold it for you because you know it's such a good deal. That's going to be the same thing with home prices. Buyers know a good deal when they see one. If you're overpriced out of the gate, good luck to you. It's going to be a long road and it's going to be bumpy. I can go on and on about pricing, and will, because it's very, very important. It's the number one thing that will make or break your home sale. I'd also like to help your future realtor out a little bit by saying don't get your pricing from any online source. They're about as accurate as you being blindfolded and throwing a dart at a dartboard from 1,000 feet away. I'd rather shake up a magic 8-ball and get my price from that 8-ball than use the pricing that these online platforms will give you. All an overpriced home is going to do is hurt the seller and the listing broker. Your buyers are going to love it because eventually you're going to have to drop the price so much that you're going to take a huge loss and they're going to get a big gain. Okay, I'll stop talking about pricing, but just know that it's that important. So that brings us to step number 2. Once you have selected a price, ask your broker for an estimated net out sheet. This is going to show you, after commissions are paid, after all fees are paid, how much you can expect to put in your pocket once the sale is complete. Now, if you're a cash buyer, this amount will tell you what price range you're in for your next home here in Las Cruces. If you're using a mortgage, you will send this letter to your lender and they will run your credit, look at your job history, and do a few other things like that. And then you'll get your pre-approval, and that'll tell you what price range of home you can buy here in Las Cruces. Slight caveat here, I would advise choosing a local lender. The last thing you want to do is get pre-approved from one of these big online mortgage companies. Some of them don't fully pre-approve you. They just do a quick credit report run and then say that you're approved for this amount. Then you get to the closing table, they do a full underwriting and everything on your file, and you find out that you can't buy the home. That's a position that's going to be really tough to get out of. But luckily that doesn't happen that often. Okay, so now that we've got all that down, you're sitting down at the table or your computer, you're about to sign the listing agreement with your realtor. This is what I'd advise. I would say ask for at least a 60-day close with the option to do a leaseback for maybe 2 to 4 weeks. So what a leaseback is you're basically, you close on your home, you sell it to the new buyer, and then you rent your home back from the buyer for the next 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how much time you need to get over here to Las Cruces. Let your listing broker know what's going on and tell them they should coordinate with your broker here in Las Cruces. We talked about getting your home priced correctly, finding a good listing agent, and then putting your house on the market. Once you have a date that you know your house will be active, you can technically start writing offers then. The hard part is that if you're looking for a resale home, that's going to be really difficult to get your offer accepted if your home's not on the market. But I do want to mention, if you're looking for a brand new home from a builder, contingent offers are pretty easily acceptable to them. Once your home is under contract and you've found a buyer for your home, your offer gains a little more strength. Still easier to get a brand new home. Resale is going to be a little bit difficult still, but you're just one step closer. The next step that's going to make your offer as strong as it's going to be until you sell your house is once you've passed inspections and appraisal on the home that you're selling. Once you're there and you start writing contingent offers, it's only a matter of time before you find your next house. So let's say your home's on the market and you don't have a buyer for it yet, but you see a resale home that you really, really want. Some things that I've done in the past is make part of the earnest money non-refundable in the event that your home doesn't sell. So what that means is it's only if your home doesn't sell the seller gets that portion of the earnest money. If you go through the contract and let's say you're not satisfied with the condition of the property, in that case you would still get all of your earnest money back. And speaking about earnest money, for those that don't know, that's a good faith payment that's made within 3 days, about 3 days of going under contract. The money is delivered to the title company where they will cash your check or they'll take it as a wire transfer, but it will be held in their escrow account until closing. Now, upon successful closing, you get your earnest money back, and that's counted towards your prepaids and your closing costs. Earnest money in New Mexico is a lot different than other states. Other states do percentages. Here it's customary for a house that's $300,000 and less to offer $500 of earnest money, and a home that's $300,000 or more to offer over $1,000 of earnest money. Of course, that amount is entirely up to you. As soon as your house is listed, I recommend that you start looking at houses in New Mexico right away. How I do that usually is starting off by doing virtual tours. So I've gotten really good at nailing virtual tours, showing you the neighborhood, things like that. So that way you don't miss out on anything if you're not in state. And then the next step I think would be, once your house gets under contract, make plans to come visit Las Cruces if you haven't already. And that way we can see some houses in person and get things going here on the ground. Another option that I've used is called early occupancy. So basically what that means is it's kind of like a lease back, but it's reversed. What you're doing is renting the home from the seller while you're in the process of purchasing it. I essentially recommend early occupancy when you're 100% fully committed to buying the house. So that's going to be after inspections and appraisal. And this is another reason why I always recommend a local lender that does a full pre-approval. The last thing you want to have happen is do an early occupancy and get to the closing table and find out that you're not fully pre-approved for the house. At that point, that's a big problem, and that's going to be a tough one to get out of. You can get out of it, we can get out of it, but it's going to take a lot of work. I've sold, like I said, about 50 homes to people that are relocating to Las Cruces. I've had 2 transactions that were a bit rough. One of them, the buyer forgot to tell the listing broker that he needed extra time to close. So they arrived in Las Cruces as their home had just closed, and they had to stay in an Airbnb for almost a month. But what happened with that one was we found a home. It was a new build, got it under contract. It ended up not working out. We found that house in a day. When we found out it wasn't going to work out, we had to search for another house, and again found it in one day, got it under contract, and got them moved in the next week. So there are going to be challenges, but every challenge has a solution. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.